Welcome back, everybody, to the next episode of 0-2 Heroes. We still don't have an intro slogan yet. Still blows my mind that you're getting one of these once a month. Talk about consistency, baby. I know normally we do like old school games that people like grew up with. Last episode was kind of new. It came out last year or the year before. This year, brand spanking new. The game hasn't even been out a month. We're talking about the all-new Street Fighter 6. And I got an awesome guest. I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves, but please welcome to the show.
What's up, Internet? This is Cliff the ShadowCaster from the Animated Gamers Podcast, where anime and game nerds collide. Thanks for having me, Mikey.
Hell yeah, thank you for coming. And I'm excited you brought up your podcast, because I was going to talk about that. Just like, I'm a big fan of the Animated Gamers. I remember when I first got into podcasting, just like, y'all were the rage. And then I was like, looking into it, I was like, great. Just like, I'm going to tag them, I'm going to get all the socials, I'm going to hype that podcast up. And it's been like a year since the last episode.
Right. Yeah, there's been some life changes for me and my co-host. One for sure, the tragedy that happened in Florida with the hurricanes. So one of my friends and co-hosts, we just never really got the stuff set up since then. But we've been talking about it. We're playing Diablo 4 right now. And I mentioned coming on this podcast and they're like kind of jealous. So expect us to record in the future. I know I really miss doing it. So just be on the lookout for that.
Oh, I cannot wait. I opened this podcast up about making a joke that I only do a podcast once a month now, which like people do weekly. That's not too over the top, but we went like 9 months without an episode for a while, and then we did 2, and then we went like 6 months without an episode. So I totally get that. So just like I so excited for y'all to come back. And if you want to send your boys the invite, you can let them know. No need to be jealous. 0-2 Heroes, open door policy. They want to talk a fighting game. You let me know.
Hey, I'll let them know for sure. They're kind of scrubs. I'll just say that, but they'll be happy to talk about it.
That totally works. I'm a scrub too. Like the whole reason I started this podcast was like to play games and get good because like, just like I'm a scrub. If I wasn't a scrub, I'd be spending the time playing the games, not talking about them.
You're right.
Yeah. It's like, there's a saying, those who can do, those who can't teach. It's similar to that. Like if I could play the games, I would be out there playing the games right now, not behind a microphone. But before we get too far into this, like I said, we're doing the new Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter 1 came out decades ago in either like 89 or 91. I probably should have looked that up, but I didn't. So long story short, Street Fighter's been out a long time, and I'm sure everybody's played it at some point. But what is your experience with Street Fighter in particular, but also like fighting games like in the grander sense?
All right, so yeah, Street Fighter 2 was the first fighting game I was exposed to. My dad and his brothers, so my uncles, were really into video games, so I'm lucky enough to have that as my introduction into video games. And yeah, they used to really trash me in Street Fighter 2. I think we played it on Super Nintendo. Something I should have looked into or asked my dad about. But yeah, they would just take turns trashing me, and I used to be really upset. I was that kid that used to cry and like, you're cheating. But I became like the best kid on my block. I was like the neighborhood hero. So, it really paid off. And aside from that, we talked a little bit about Mortal Kombat. I'm not really good at that. But I did play a lot of Dead or Alive. The first game I got on the OG Xbox, some Soul Calibur. So I'm the oldest of a lot of siblings. So fighting games is like something I grew up with. It's the easiest game, you can play on the same console. So yeah, even my mom, it's not a fighting game, but we play Streets of Rage. I used to be Streets of Rage with my mom all the time.
Oh, that's cute. That's real cute.
Yeah.
That's real cool. I didn't grow up playing these games. I probably got into them, I want to say in like high school, give or take. But there's an arcade in town, and last summer they ran a Street Fighter 2 tournament. And I got like the anniversary pack for like the Capcom. It was like half off or something, and I got the anniversary pack. So I'm like at home trying to play Street Fighter 2, and I'm like, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm gonna go into this, and I walk in, and there's just like 2 old guys like in their 50s or 60s, and they're like, yeah, I've been playing this since I was your age. I'm gonna kick your ass. And they did. It wasn't close.
Yeah, it's humbling when you think you're good at a game, and it's like, that's when you go online or, go to the arcades. Luckily, we still have some here in Philly. Yeah. And then you're like, go in there with your quarters. I'm ready to slap face. And then you get humbled real quick.
I also think that it's so cool that like the old guard is still with it. Like they haven't touched the game in years. I'm sure Just like your dads, your uncles, or whoever, like they could jump back on the sticks and they know what they're doing. It's just like,
Right. Just a little Ben Gay and they'll be fine.
yeah, yeah. Once they figure out how to do a quarter circle again, they're set. It's like riding a bike. You don't lose that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so just like one of the things that they have in Street Fighter 6, what I think is interesting, they're trying to get away from the quarter circle, and they have classic controls and modern controls. Have you tried both of them out?
Only classic. I'm kind of a snob like that. My
Okay.
cousin, he has this whole soapbox rant about modern controls. So I don't really have a hard stance on it, other than I'm not going to try it out. So people, whatever you need to do to enjoy the game, do what you need to do.
Yeah,
But I like the classic for sure.
I'm also a fan of the classic. Like when I started off doing story mode forces you to do the new modern controls. I think for like the first few matches, just to force you to practice with it. And as soon as I could, I was like, no, I don't like this. I've been using the same set of controls for like the last 10, 15 years. I'm like used to that. But I think it's cool for like new players, just like I'm sure like my little cousin can't figure out how to move the joystick like that. So modern controls might work for him, but I don't know. I don't know anybody that plays with modern.
Right. Yeah. I know that's the barrier to entry is that, quarter circles and the full circles. And sometimes I still with supers and stuff. So I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been over 30 years. Like you said, the first one came out in like 89. So at least 33 years. So I don't really mind if more people are getting into the game,
Mm-hmm.
that's a plus for everybody.
Oh no, I feel the exact same way. I know there are some like fighting game snobs that are like, oh man, that's just like the entry to get in. If you can't do that, you're not good enough to play. I'm like, oh man, fuck that noise. Like if the kids want to play, let the kids play, just whatever.
Right. The thing we should be complaining about is the DLC characters and paying for skins, but that's a whole nother thing. I remember back in the day we used to beat the game to unlock skins, not pay
Yeah.
$1, $2.
I was looking at it today, and it's not even like a bundle pack where you can buy like, I'm just gonna buy one skin for every character. You can buy the skins individually, or you know what? I'm gonna buy all 6 Chun-Li skins for the one price. But still, I don't know how much money that is to get like the whole roster set. I'm not doing any of that. No.
Right? I want to dress up all my characters. I got to dress up Cammy and Zangief.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend $30 on just one character.
Okay, so before we get too far into this, just with the game being this old, I'm sure, like we've played Street Fighters before. I'm going in, you know what you're getting into. Who are you playing in this game? Did you pick one of the new characters? Are you trying any of them out?
It took a while. I went to Cammy because that was my main in Street Fighter 4. So I played a lot of Ultra Street Fighter 4 on 360 with my friends. So I kind of got the spacing down with her, all the new mechanics, and then Zangief. That's who I'm learning how to use now. He's annoying. I learned him to annoy my friends back in the day. So those are my two main characters. As far as new folks, JP, I'm getting really good with him, and Manon. I like the grapples.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to get the commands down. But yeah, I like those two new characters.
Is Manon, is that the new ballerina character?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ballerina Bay.
Yeah. I was getting her confused with who's like the Spartan character they have, where her hair looks like a helmet, but it's just her red hair.
Wow, what is her name?
It's also something with
I
an
feel
M,
so bad.
I think. So I get the two of them confused. I wanted to make sure I had the right one.
Yeah, she's at the end of Zangief's storyline because she was looking for a partner. I remember it was so, and he interpreted it wrong. But yeah, she's dope. She's really dope. I just haven't played as her, but playing against her online she's a problem.
Yeah, it's like this has like, I'm sure there's DLC coming out, so it has like a relatively small roster. So like physically, like realistically, I could go through and practice with all of them. But I found like the 2 or 3 characters I'm comfortable with. I was like, I'll get to the rest of them eventually. So I haven't even tried out the whole roster yet. So maybe there's like, maybe I'm really into Manon or I'm really into Lily, and I haven't tried them yet.
Who are you playing as?
So I think I'm playing as Ken. I tried a couple of the characters. Normally my go-to character is Akuma. I love Akuma. Doesn't matter the game. Akuma's badass. But he's DLC. He's not coming out for a year, and then I gotta pay like $8 to get him. So I was going through and I tried Dalsim for a little bit, and like he's cool. He's like really good against people who don't know what to do against his stretchy arms. But
Right.
as soon as you find one person that knows how to like crouch or jump over them, just you're fucked. Like I can't do anything because I'm just like stuck with my stretchy arms out. And like by the time they come back in, they've already hit me 6 times and I'm screwed. So I dropped that and then I picked up Ken because it's like a similar moveset to Akuma. I know what I'm doing with him. But then I was also trying out JP and Jury. I know Jury's not new for this game, but I never had Street Fighter V, so I didn't get a chance to play her. And I was watching some Street Fighter tournament like when it first came out, and I saw someone playing it, so I was like, that's cool, I could get into that. But I think it's boring, but I feel comfortable with Ken because I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, Ken, you can't go wrong with Ken. The fire uppercut, the DP is just too much.
Yeah, and
so.
just like, and it's nice because I know like no matter the game, when I pick up the controller and you give me like Ken or Ryu, cool. I at least have an idea of what I'm doing. I can beat a couple computers. It's easy. It stays consistent, which is nice.
Yeah, for sure. My cousin buys Street Fighter just to play as Ryu, so you're branching out more than he is. I don't think he plays any other character but Ryu.
I thought about that. I'm like, should I play Ryu? And then I thought, no, that's like the protagonist. That's boring. I'm gonna do Ken. It's slightly different. I just like, I could play as Ryu, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the fire punch for Ken. You know, just like it's pretty much the same thing. What type of controller do you play with?
I'm using the Xbox One controller.
Xbox One controller. Okay. Years ago, I bought a fight stick for my PS2 so I could play Marvel vs. Capcom. And I've used that for every fighting game since. And it's real bad. I'm sure you can imagine how bad a PS2 controller is. And I had a PS2 controller, and at the end, PS2 to PS3, and then at the end, PS3 to PS4 adapter to get it to fit this. And it finally like gave out on me this week. Like it shit the bed on like Monday.
Oh no! So it's time to get a new one. I've wanted a fight stick for so many years. I've always said I want, but never invested into one. But I think I should because I do have 6. I actually have 4 as well here on Steam. It was on sale for like $3, so I play that from time to time.
And I was looking online, and they run like a cheap one will run you like $120. I'm like, I'm not going to tournaments and stuff. I don't want to drop $120 so I can play on a podcast. I'm not doing that. So, but I went to Facebook Marketplace and I found one being sold for like $40 in Philly. So I drove in yesterday after work, picked it up, and so I'm playing with that today. And it's like I tried doing the controller for a bit, but because I've been playing with this for years, it just felt more comfortable to go back to my little clicky clacky box.
To go on Facebook then and see if I can find a deal like that, because you're right, spending $150 or whatever, like $120, I'm going to be obligated to play the game more.
Exactly. Just like you're going to get invested. You're going to want to get your money's worth. And I know me. I'm afraid that if I spent that money, I wasn't going to, because fun fact, I know you and I are going to play in a bit. I've had the PS4 for like years now. I just bought PlayStation Plus to play online last night for this podcast episode. So I never played online with any of my games, and fighting games are real boring if you're just playing against the computer the whole time, so I didn't feel I needed it. But I've been playing online today. Dude, it's fun playing against people. Just totally worth the $8 a month.
And it's great to see like people use the same character but have different strategies. It's really cool to see that, and you pick up new things. So yeah, it's when it's fun, but when you get trashed, it's not as fun. But yeah.
One thing that I thought was really cool, the fight stick, because it only has the one joystick. When you're running around in like the campaign mode or whatever, and you use the right analog stick to look around, I was like, man, I'm screwed. What am I gonna do? But the game developers assumed a bunch of people were going to be using this type of controller. I think you can hold down like R1 and then use triangle and square to look around instead. So they give you the second stick. You just have to like press buttons to get it working instead. And I thought, like, cool. Thanks for looking out for me, Capcom. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's dope. I didn't even think about that.
And like, as soon as I plugged it in, it was like, use the right stick to look around. I was like, man, I'm screwed. I was like looking up videos. What do I need to do? And like, I found a video from like a Tekken player, and he was like, you need to unplug it and plug it back in and trick the PlayStation into thinking it's a PS3 controller, and then you press this other button. I'm like, ugh, that's never gonna work. And then I put my phone down and I just clicked next on the dialogue box. And I was like, cool, if you have a stick, this is what you need to do. It's done.
Simple.
Yeah, real easy. Have you, like, playing this, it's been out for a month now, so playing this game, are you playing mostly online? Have you done any of the campaign mode? Just like, how are you playing this?
I played a few hours of the campaign. I think I'm working towards the second master right now. I really get caught up just beating up thugs on the street. Like,
Yeah.
I'm walking around and they're talking trash or or whatever. So I think I'm like level 15. I shouldn't be level 15 right now. Aside from that, I play a little bit of the ranked.
Okay.
And I custom matches with my cousin, but
Oh, nice.
yeah.
I played the campaign a little bit this week, and like, I wasn't expecting to have fun with it, but it's cool. It's like its own little like RPG almost. You get like experience points, and you got to like level up, and you have like missions to do. It's way more fun than I was expecting.
I went up to folks and just uppercut them with Luke's move. So
Yeah.
that's the way I start all my battles. It's pretty fun.
And it's so fun because just like earlier today, I was just like beating up this girl who just got like home for summer break from like 7th grade. She's like in a little like school uniform and she got a backpack. I'm just like squaring up with her in the streets of totally not New York. I was like, dude, just like one, I'm beating up like she's at most 12 years old. But two, if I lose, it's like the campaign mode I'm set up. I'm in bodyguard school or something like that. Luke is training me to be a bodyguard, I think. And I'm getting my shit mixed by a 12-year-old kid. Oh, that's not good either way.
Everybody can get it, but yeah, when you're on the ground from a 12-year-old girl, it's like, I'm going to rethink my life.
I think it's so funny that they included her because no matter what it is, I'm either like getting rocked by a 12-year-old girl or I'm just kicking the shit out of some 12-year-old kid. I don't even know why they put that character in there.
Yeah, when they put the grannies in there too, I was just, that's funny.
Oh, I haven't run into any grannies yet. That's real. I gotta keep an eye out for that.
I just spoiled it for you. I just spoiled it. My bad, but it's it's so stupid.
Oh no, that's so much fun. Oh, I gotta keep an eye out for that. So I'm looking through my notes, and that's pretty much everything I want to talk about before we get into the match. Anything you want to talk about before we throw some hands?
Anything about Street Fighter? Have you had any? Well, never mind. You're not playing online. I have a lot of connection issues. We'll see what happens when we play.
Oh, okay. Today's the first day I've been playing online, and so far I've had no issues. All of my matches have been like pretty solid. So
okay,
fingers crossed.
So I reset my router and stuff earlier today, and I got a new Ethernet cable yesterday.
Oh,
so
nice.
It should be straight today.
Nice. Okay, cool. So listeners at home, hang tight. We'll be right back after this ad break with more Street Fighter 6.
What up? Are you ready for the best idea ever? Do you have money? Do you want even more money? Well, guess what? We've got a great idea for you. I told you not to stay out of my peripherals through the whole 2, 1. Fight Milk! The first alcoholic, dairy-based protein drink for bodyguards. My bodyguard!
I drink it every morning so I can fight like a crowd.
Let's get out of the way. There we go. It's all about the product shot.
Where do I stand?
Don't do the whole. I want them to see the whole thing.
Fight milk! Rose! Milk! Made fresh!
By bodyguards and Charlie.
What up? Watch his profit soar high as a crow!
Watch your profit soar high as a crow!
Oh, sorry.
Wait, I thought we said
Profit,
I was gonna. Yeah, go with your right.
To the right hand.
All right, anyway, who wants to invest?
Thank you for sticking around through that ad break. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you go support whatever that product may or may not be. We don't pre-screen these ads a lot of the times, so most times we try to make sure it's something that we agree with. But who knows? Maybe it's some batshit insane product, but go try it regardless. While we were away on break, we played a quick 3 out of 5 of Street Fighter 6. And boy, oh boy, was it a return to form. Did I get my ass kicked? So, last episode of this podcast was the first episode I ever won the match in the middle of the podcast. And again, that went to like last hit, like last second of it. So just like, I'm not very good at fighting games, like I said. But dude, you kicked my ass. Tell me about it. What was your game plan going and how'd you do it?
There were some close matches, so let's not.
Yeah.
It wasn't. But yeah, I just did what I normally do. I started with Zangief, opened up with the troll. Went on to Manon, like I said before. She's pretty dope. I have to get her command grabs down. It's really I like her kicks more. She has longer range. Mm-hmm. And then had to finish off with Cammy, my girl. Especially because you picked Jury. I'm traumatized by her.
Yeah, just like so for my matches, I went Ken, Dalsim, and then Jury. And I was just trying that out. I think the Ken and Zangief one was the closest match we had, just because I felt comfortable with Ken. But I really hate having to get up close to Zangief because you get one grab. I'm like, cool, that's half my life bar gone. So I don't know if it's a good game plan or not. But whenever I play Zangief, my plan's like, okay, I'm gonna switch to Dalsim so I can punch from far away and not get grabbed. But
yeah, in this game, he just deletes your health bar and he has the EX grab. He runs across the entire screen. It's OP.
Yeah. And just like, it's not just him. I hate grapplers like in any game. I was playing Guilty Gear Strive a little while ago, and I hate Potemkin, the big muscly guy that just like grabs you. Just like, fuck off with these wrestling grabs.
I've never actually played any of those games. I've seen the art style. It looks cool, but I've never played Guilty Gear.
Oh, they're really cool. And the guy who made it, he's one of the people I talked about earlier, where they're like, oh, the fighting game is too hard. Okay, you don't deserve to play. Type of like mentality. His whole thing is he made the most complicated fighting game series of all time because he didn't want it to be easy. He wanted only like the good players to play his game, and if he made it super difficult to play, it was gonna like weed out all of like the shitters. So just like, and just like, I definitely think that's like a design choice to be like, I'm not going to make this game accessible or friendly to new players. You have to be good at this shit for it to work. But yeah, so I played that, and I forget. Have you played any of the King of Fighters?
I can't say I have with any intensity. Like maybe going to folks' house, and then I played some of the King of Fighters in Mugen. You ever did Mugen back in the day? Yeah. So I played some of those characters there, but yeah, nothing that I owned and spent time.
And I haven't played any of the new King of Fighters, but in the newest one, there's like a wrestler dude who goes around. He's like a luchador, but he goes around in like a T-Rex mask, and I forget his name. Yeah, he's cool, but he's like another one of those grapplers where he's a luchador. He wants to get up real close and grab you and spin you around and throw you. And, dude, I hate playing against him too. Just, I think just they work really well against people who don't know what they're doing, and that's me.
Yeah, you got to get the spacing for sure. And like we mentioned, people play as the same characters and have different styles, so you really got to fill out how your opponent is. As you could probably tell, I jump a lot.
Yeah.
So you definitely could have dragon punched me a few times, but I'm like, okay, I can keep doing this.
So I know I should be dragon punching, but whenever I see you coming, I'm like, okay, I'm going to take one step back, let him land, and then I'm going to hit him.
Right.
But Zangief is just such a massive dude that when you land, I'm still too close and you still get me. Yeah, so we were playing that, and just like, it was a lot of fun. We had a couple close games. We won all of them, though. But I'm going through this, and I'm thinking, okay, like I said, I like playing as Akuma, but he's not there yet. If you were in charge of Street Fighter 6, are there any characters that you would add to the roster? And not necessarily, it doesn't have to be a returning character. It could be like a brand new character that you made up that goes, you know what? You know how Jury fights with her feet? I want a character that does like Taekwondo, but exclusively like with his elbows. It could be like a fighting style instead of a character. But you're in charge of Street Fighter 6. Who you adding?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, for sure, I want to add these two. They are returning characters, and then I have, I guess, a created character. So Poison, loved
Okay.
her, trolled with her a lot in Ultra Street Fighter 4 towards the end, and she was really good in Tekken Cross Street Fighter.
Okay.
So she's good. Cody, man,
Hmm.
that Zoink punch, you could do like the feint. I love that. And then the tornado, so
Hmm.
good. And if I were to create a character, I would probably do someone who does like the psycho abilities like JP
Hmm.
and and Bison,
Hmm.
but they don't use their limbs sort of. So it's probably all like psychokinetics. If they
Oh,
could bring
gotcha.
that out.
Okay.
Because JP has the little phantom that comes out. If they could do like phantom punches and kicks, that would be pretty dope.
Yeah. Now, I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot to talk about that. I haven't played like story mode in a lot of these fighting games. So I know M. Bison has psycho powers. I think M. Bison died a couple games ago. And now JP's here and JP has psycho powers. Did you play story mode? Do you know if they're related? Is that like his boss? Are they brothers? What's the deal with this? Both of them having psycho power?
I do not know. I have to go on YouTube and watch some videos. I don't even know where Seth comes in, to be honest. He was the antagonist before. And then he changed from male to female, which was, it was a great design
Yeah.
choice. I'm like, they didn't explain it at all. But no, I have to watch YouTube videos to get some of that backstory.
I remember I was at work one time and I'm driving the truck and I have my earbuds in and I'm not watching it because I'm driving, but I have like the audio playing of a YouTube video and it's like the history of Street Fighter story explained in 15 minutes. And it just some dude like rambling off facts about this happens and then that, and then like 2 minutes into it, I'm lost. I'm like, dude, what the
Right.
how does this happen in a fighting game?
It's so wacky. And the movies are cool, but they don't really make a lot of sense. I don't know. You have to like
No,
read the comics and get the manga. It's one of
like
those types of series.
it's cool that there's like an expanded universe for video game, but at the same time, I don't want to have to read 3 different comic book series and watch a movie to figure out why M. Bison is launching nukes at someone, which
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure he did. I'm pretty sure he launched nukes, and then that's how he died, or he tried to kill someone, and then that's how they got powers. I don't know. Angry nerds on Twitter who's like, oh, you need to know Street Fighter. Go ahead and correct me. Let me know. I'm ignorant. Please tell me what happened to M. Bison.
Yeah, I bet it's super wacky. I'm willing to bet that.
I'm like, I what happened to the days where Street Fighter was just, hey man, I'm throwing a fighting tournament, come through. Street Fighter 2, just the best fighters in the world, throw them together, done, easy. And then and then Street Fighter 3, they got a fucking Fast and Furious style like chronology with this stuff. Because Street Fighter 2 happens and then Street Fighter 3 is the last game in the series. Street Fighter 3 takes place in the future. And then they came
Oh
back for
yeah.
4 and then 5 and then 6, but still not quite 3. 3 is still in the future. And I'm just like, man, what just happened to having a Taekwondo tournament?
Yeah, that's definitely Fast and Furious, Star Wars type. Yeah, that's a lot. I didn't even realize that too. Yeah, I think I saw that fact somewhere and just forgot about it.
And like the whole thing for that is Street Fighter 3 started off as a different fighting game. And then Capcom didn't like it. They go, okay, we need to tweak this. We need to change it. Just make it a Street Fighter. And they'd had a whole new roster. Like the only returning character was Ryu, just because it was going to have its own roster. And they go, it's Street Fighter. Just stick Ryu in there and then sell it. And that's what they did. So everyone was like, I don't. Is that really Street Fighter? So like when it first came out, people hated it. Now Street Fighter 3, Third Strike, like the third edition, super well received. People like look back fondly on that one and love it. But again, it's like 80% new characters because it was supposed to be like a brand new game, and they just had to like explain it somehow. So like it's in the future.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm looking up the roster now. I'll take a look at this later.
It's you had this god creature Gil, who I think came back as DLC in Street Fighter 5.
That's the red and blue guy, right? He's like split down the
Yeah,
middle.
yeah, like the red. Yeah, yeah. You had Q. You had a couple people who I think were like the sons of someone from Street Fighter 2. I think like Fei Long's kids are in this because it's in the future or something. It's just like it's a whole new roster, and they're like slowly trying to figure out how to put that back in the Street Fighter like timeline. But they really screwed themselves over with that one.
Yeah, because some of these characters are in 4. I see Dudley here. He's like the gentleman boxer. I was really nice with him too in 4. He's a great character.
Yeah, so Dudley came out in 3, and then like they're trying to add them back. Yeah, Dudley's in there. And like eventually I think they added Ken, Chun-Li, and Akuma as like every time they came out with a new version of it, they added one more Street Fighter character. And I think that's it for like returning characters. Everything else was completely new. And people hated that, which is why when like Street Fighter 4 and 5 came out, half the roster was just like, you know what, you like the World Warriors? Here's the Street Fighter 2 roster all over again.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I like playing as Akuma. Akuma's not out yet. One thing that's cool, I was looking how you can like buy costumes for characters, and instead of using in-game money for that, you can buy a rental pass. Where did you see that?
Yeah, I saw they gave out a few of them, but
so
I don't know how much they cost.
Yeah,
USD.
I think that's a cool thing though, because like the rental passes are for DLC characters who aren't out yet, and you buy the rental pass with in-game money, and you get the DLC character for 1 hour, and you can play with him, and then decide if you like him or not, and then buy him. Like the next character coming out is Rashid. I think he's coming out later this month, maybe next month. Maybe he's coming out sometime soon. They just came out with the trailer for him, and like if you had the rental pass, you can try Rashid out before buying him because, I don't know, maybe you spent money on Rashid and it turns out he sucks and you don't like him and you're out the $8 now. So it's cool that you get to rent characters in the game.
Oh yeah, I like that. That's a good option. Instead of just having folks waste their money. But yeah, I have a few stocked up, so maybe I'll use them for Akuma. I like him as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember when Super Smash Bros. Ultimate came out, I bought like the fighter pass. I bought like the season pass, so I got all 6 characters. I don't use any of them. Just like I didn't need to do that. I could have just bought Banjo and Kazooie and called it a day. But no, I have 12 extra characters I don't use.
That's how it was because I like Persona. So when Joker was released, but at that point I stopped playing Smash Brothers. But
oh wow, that's very early into Smash's career. That was the first DLC character.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that might answer this next question, but you're going to a party, right? You're going to a party, and who's ever hosting the party, and they're like, yo, I need you to bring a game for like to play that people will enjoy. Are you bringing Smash Bros, or are you going to try and convince people to play Street Fighter 6? Are you bringing this new game?
Oh, for a party, that's Smash Brothers. It's not as intense. More people can play at the same time, and the boards are fun. Good for all ages, and there won't be any raging. So I'm definitely taking Ultimate.
Okay, let me go ahead and rephrase that. You're having like a crew hangout. It's you and your boys. No party. You're just gonna play video games, have a couple beers, hang out all night. Would you break Street Fighter 6 out in that situation, or is that still a let's chill and play a Smash Ultimate type of vibe?
No, I'm breaking Street Fighter 4.
Street Fighter 4, okay.
Yeah, because I got all the characters too, so that don't seem cheap. Yeah. But if I had to pick 6, yeah, I'll pick 6.
I remember the first time I played Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 4 is an old game at this point, so it was a while ago. It was like for the 360, and my partner's younger brother just got it, and I want to say he was like 8, maybe 9 at the time. And like I came over one night, and he's been playing this shit for months. He was like, "Hey Mike, you want to play?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And this like 9-year-old kid mollywops me. He completely destroys me because he's 9 years old. He's just playing video games all day long over summer break. I got like a job and stuff because I'm an adult. And I remember it was like the first time that I lost a video game to a kid, and like I was mad, dude. I was like pissed that this 9-year-old beat me.
I know you can't do anything about it. Just sit there and just fuming.
I was like, dude, you got it. Yeah, you beat me. But then it's funny because like years later, I want to say he's like 16, 17 now. He's like not quite an adult, but like he's there. It's like when I hang out with him, it's no longer I'm babysitting. It's like I'm hanging out with like this kid. And when the arcade in town opened up, I took him there one day, and they had a Street Fighter 2 cabinet. I was like, "Oh, you want to play this? Remember when we played Street Fighter 4?" I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." But like, I was playing Street Fighter 2 since before he was born, so like, I felt good with this. And then I beat him. I was like, "Dude, I don't know if you remember this, but like, you were 9 years old and you beat me, and you were a dick about it because you were 9, and you're like dancing around the basement, and I held that grudge for years, and I finally kicked your ass, and it feels good." He's like, "No, dude, I don't remember this, but you held on to a 9-year-old beating you for that long? Dude, you need to talk to someone."
It gets like that though. I knew where this story was going.
Yeah.
You gotta do the X-Pac and all that stuff.
Yeah. And like, and it's funny because like he doesn't really play fighting games anymore. He moved on to like the Call of Duty game, so like our like paths have like divulged. We're not really playing each other anymore, so it doesn't happen that much. But I was like, it was like fun to talk to him, just like now that he's no longer a kid. Like, I don't know if you remember this, but you were like a child that had an impact on me, and so like I remember that. I'm glad that we're hanging out now, and I'm no longer babysitting you.
It's like M. Bison said, "For you, it was a tragedy. For me, it was another Tuesday."
Yes, yeah, exactly, exactly. So I'm looking at my notes here, and the only other thing I have that I want to talk about is at the start of the match, you get to move your joystick around, and your characters make funny faces.
Yeah. I just, just go in a circle. It's so weird. And then Manon, it looks like she's like drunk when you press right. Like she just took a drink of something. And then Cammy has cringe faces. I don't know what's up with that, but it's a fun little addition. I can think of a couple games that have done that in the past. I can't think of their names, but I'm sure I've seen that before.
It's just like such a little thing to add during like the loading screen. So you're not just like stuck there twiddling your thumbs while it's loading. It gives you something to do. Also, you get to laugh at funny faces. Like I remember, who did I fight Cammy with? I fought Cammy with Dalsum. I think I was like making a Dalsum face, and at one point Cammy just like looked back in horror, like she was disgusted at the faces I was making, and I thought that was a funny interaction.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the go-to.
And like all it took, it's a quick game. All it took was like 6 seconds to load, if that. But like in that time span, we were both able to do like one full spin of the face dial, and just like it got a chuckle out of me. It served its purpose. It got its job done.
When you play local, there's another opening, a unique opening that's pretty cool. The characters walk up to the stage. So if you have a chance to play local, I recommend doing that.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to do that yet, but I saw that when it first came out. They're like strolling up into like the boxing ring, and it gives you like their height and their weight and like fighter data, like it's like an MMA match. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that beforehand. I don't really watch trailers for games and movies anymore, so I try to be surprised. So yeah, when I saw that, we had like a hangout a couple weeks ago actually, and I was like, "This is pretty dope."
Very excited. I'm hoping I can like convince my partner's brother to come back over and play the new Street Fighter, and I promise I won't be salty or angry this time if he beats me. But I'm excited to play like in person with someone because I think that'll be fun.
For sure, the trash talk is that's when it comes out, at least for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just like I didn't play much of Street Fighter 5, but I'm definitely having a lot of fun with Street Fighter 6. I think they did a lot of like ease of access stuff to make it easier for new players to get into it, which I think is fun, but also it still plays like a kick-ass Street Fighter game, like best of both worlds.
Yeah, no doubt. It just takes time getting used to the new mechanics, but like you said, it's still the same game you know and love, and I'm excited to continue playing and get better at it, and maybe even do some local tournaments and stuff. I always wanted to do that. I'm actually going to J1Con later this year.
Okay.
And so I'm hoping to play some casual matches there.
Now, you don't have to dox yourself and tell me how close you are to it, but have you been to this place? It's on Broad Street. It's called Localhost.
Yeah, I've been there a few times. Yeah, they had an event. Unfortunately, it was the same week as Wizard World. Well, the new Wizard World, but I couldn't go. But yeah, it's a really great spot.
Cool. I was about to say, I was just there last weekend. They're hosting a Super Smash Brothers tournament, so I went to that. But I think they host Street Fighter weeklies. I think they're like Wednesday nights. Or like maybe Wednesday nights just like to hang out, have fun, and there's no tournament. But just like being in the city, I feel like you got the opportunity to be like, oh, cool, I'm gonna go here because I know they do Tekken. I think they do Street Fighter. I know there's a couple bars over by me in Jersey that like once a month do. They take like the wine tasting room at the bar and turn into like they just set up TVs and turn into like a video game spot for like one Monday out of the month, and they started doing Street Fighter 2. So if you want it, there's like places all over the place you can go to.
Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely look into that. I want to sharpen my skills.
So I better say, like, I ran through my notes. Long story short, Street Fighter 6, lots of fun. It sounds like you agree.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. This is I'm going to be playing this for a while.
I got nothing else to talk about. I'm not going to plug my show. If you're listening to this, you know who I am. You know where to find me. But please, let the people know where they can find you and where they can find the animated gamers if and when they do come back.
I think the best bet to add me on Instagram is TheCaster, TheeCaster. And the Animated Gamers podcast, we still are pretty active in Discord. So if you want to join that, our link is on our Twitter page. And I'm hoping to get us up and running before the winter time because like I said, we're playing a lot of Diablo. I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about that. They're playing Final Fantasy. So yeah, we're still into it. It's just we got to find time to record and be consistent. But yeah, we are looking forward to dropping some content for you guys because we had a lot of fun doing it.
Cool. And listeners at home, if you're like driving to work, don't frantically write down his Instagram address and everything. I'm going to include that in the show notes. Just click the link, follow them on everything. And it's funny, I'm mostly active on Twitter. I know you're mostly active on Instagram. Have you signed up for the new Instagram threads?
No, and I don't plan to. Yeah, because I'm mostly stepping away from social media. I know everyone doing that type of stuff, but no, it's really I get trapped in it. I had to get rid of TikTok, and yeah, depending on how you approach the internet and conversations, I know it's just not good for me and my mental health. So I'm gonna just stay away from it.
I signed up for Twitter threads, not Twitter threads. I signed up for Instagram threads yesterday because another podcast was like, hey, I just signed up on this. Follow me. So I made one. And as soon as I did it, I felt this sense of like existential dread in the pit of my stomach where I was like, did I just make another social media account?
Yeah.
I don't need this in my life. So I don't have a name. I don't have a profile picture. I have no posts. I don't see me posting. I mostly just did it so no one else could take the podcast name on Threads.
That's smart. Yeah, I get enough memes from the folks in my life already. And most of the conversations on the internet is trash. So I'm just going to let y'all have it.
Yeah, there's not really, like, you can't have really good conversation when you're limited to, like, 160 characters in the one tweet. Like, how deep of a convo are you having?
Yeah, especially when I'm not going to get too deep into it. Everyone thinks they're right and isn't, welcome to hear other opinions. But, it is what it is. That's life.
Yeah. Well, dude, I appreciate you coming on the show. Thanks for hanging out. I know you're not super active on Twitter, so when you took me up on the offer to come on the show, I was super excited. So thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I was not joking. Go ahead, send it to the rest of the animated gamers. They want to come on and talk a fighting game. Just have them hit me up. Open door policy. I'm down for anything and anyone.
Got you. I will let them know right after this. I'm going to text everyone.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, listeners, I appreciate you getting this far into the episode. We got more Owen 2 Heroes coming your way. You heard it here first. There might be more animated gamers coming your way. You can go ahead and thank me for that also. But go ahead and follow all those links, and we will catch you next time. Peace.